What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. So, MLB trade deadline ended a week ago. Obviously, I've been away, so I've been able to cover the moves. There's a lot of other stuff that happened. Today, I'm going to focus on the MLB trade deadline recap. I'm going to talk about a bunch of the bigger moves that happened. Talk about some teams that I think did a good job, teams that I thought could have done some more. And then that's going to be what we're going to do today. And then we'll focus on some other stuff tomorrow and then next week. But let's get started. I first want to talk about the Houston Astros. So they made a couple of decent moves. They went out and brought back Carlos Correa. I think this is a pretty good move. Correa is now 30 years old. He's had some injuries in his past. He's not the same player he once was. His WAR is only .1 this year. This year he's hitting 260, 8 home runs, 33 RBIs, 704 OPS. He's only slugging 387. A far cry from his hit from what he usually does. But he's still a decent player. Obviously started in Houston. Was on the 2017 World Series team. The one that cheated, but was still a great team. He's got 3 years left on that 6-year deal he got from the Twins. Twins are eating some money. So this was a good deal for the Astros. He's going to play third base for them. They already have Jimmy Pena there to play short, so he is going to play third base for the Houston Astros. He's a decent bat to get. They don't have a whole lot for him. Allows Minnesota to move some money, and he returns to Houston. So I like them bringing him back. You have I also like the move to bring in Jesus Sanchez. This year he's hitting 250, 10 home runs, 37 RBIs, 739 OPS. More top prospect with the Marlins. He had been there for a while. Houston picks him up. Hasn't quite turned out to the star I thought he was going to be, but he's a solid middle of the order bat. He's also a decent outfielder as well. Houston picks up a couple of bats there, uh, which I liked. This is a team that's aging. Obviously, you've had a lot of success in the past. You've won the division each of the last 8 seasons. Probably going to win it again. It's much closer this year, but you will probably win your 9th straight division title. Last year spent an 8-year streak of ALCS appearances. Obviously, you've won 2 championships. You've been to what, 4 or 5 World Series in the last 8 or 9 years. So, but a lot of those players are no longer there. Framber Valdez, your ace of your staff is a free agent at the end of the season. This team, I'm sure by now, their core is getting older. The window is shrinking. So let's bring back Carlos Correa, for I won't say a discounted rate, but discounted compared to what they would have paid him if Minnesota didn't chip in any money. He's got 3 years left. Let's go to Jesus Sanchez. He's only 27 years old. Two pieces that can help us now, and maybe even Sanchez. I'm not sure what his contract situation is if he's coming off the books next year, but the guy who could help you for a couple more years. Correa's got 3 years left. But I think those are two decent moves by the Houston Astros. You had the Padres went absolutely bonkers. They went nuts. The big move they made was to get Mason Miller from the Athletics, electric closer. This year, 3.66 ERA in 39 games, 20 saves, 60 strikeouts, and 39 in the third, whip a smidge above 1. It's a tiny bit above his career numbers thus far. He started out really, really bad, but lately has locked in and been the guy that he was last season. Last year, Miller had an ERA of 2.49 in 55 games, 28 saves over 65 innings. He had 104 strikeouts against just 21 walks, 65 innings. He started out a little slow this year, but has gotten it together since then. He's an electric closer. He's in his prime. He's only 26 years old. He's got a couple years of a control left. They give up a lot in the trade. They give up. They also get JP Sears in that trade. But by the way, he was former pitching prospect for the Yankees. Yankees sent him to the A's in the Frankie Montas trade. Hasn't really worked out. This year has an ERA of 5.12 in 23 starts. This year has an ERA of 4.53 in let's see how many games he's got. He's got 98 career starts for his career. His first full years in Oakland, he was a serviceable depth starter. He was pretty decent in the back of the rotation. Has struggled a bit this year. Didn't look good in his first start in San Diego, then he just went back to the minor leagues. But he's 29. So he gets you some starting pitching that. But the big move was Miller. You give up Leo DeVries in the trade. He is right now the third best prospect in all baseball. He's a shortstop from the Dominican Republic. He's only 18 years of age. Right now, he is I think he's an A ball. He's in high A ball right now. So far, it's hitting 249, 800 runs, 49 RBIs, 773 OPS, 350 on base. So I'm not jumping with the page yet, but a lot of potential there. He came in as the top 20, 25 prospect in all baseball. Right now, he's the third best prospect in all baseball. And San Diego gives him up in the deal. You know, San Diego dealt away a lot of prospects. They also give up they give up let's see Braden Net, a starting pitching prospect. He's 23 years old. He's obviously further along than DeVries. He's right this year in Double A. His ERA of 4 in 17 starts. So the Padres give him up as well. So ERA of 4 in Double A is kind of okay. He's already 23. They also give up. Looking at my thing here, Henry Baez is another starting pitching prospect. He's also from the Dominican Republic. He is 22 years old. Uh, I said this before, it makes me feel kind of old now that I'm the same age as like guys who are on the cusp of going to the league or already in the league. But in Double A this year, he's been very good. 21 starts, 2.57 ERA, and 101 and 2/3 innings in Double A. So he's coming along nicely. Could be up with the team sooner rather than later. So they give up a good amount to get Miller as well as JP Sears. They also make a move with Baltimore, pick up Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano from the Orioles. O'Hearn, free agent to be. He's had probably the best year of his career. His year was hitting 278, 13 home runs, 43 RBIs, 360 on base, 820 OPS. He's 32, but going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He gives him a nice bag. He's done a bunch of designated hitter duties for Baltimore this year. Also can play first as well as the corner outfield. Ramon Laureano, a bit of a mini career resurgence. Remember him with then Oakland A's. He had those crazy throws from center field. Also could hit. Well, for a few years now, he's kind of fallen off. He's now 31. He's got actually a club option for next year, so he could have none of your control. This year's hitting 290 with 16 home runs, 48 RBI, 350 on base, 530 slugging, 887 OPS. So a resurgent year for Ramon Laureano. He's a outfielder that the Padres add. In that trade, you do give up a lot. In that trade, you give up Brandon Butterworth, an infield prospect. He gets sent to the Orioles in the trade this year. Between high A and Double A, he's hitting 273, 12 home runs, 49 RBIs, a 460. So yeah, his OPS is 797, slugging percentage is 460. So he's been pretty solid this year. Still 22 years old. He's mainly been in Double A this year. Some other you give up a lot in the trade. Boston Bateman also went in this trade. As you can see, San Diego dealt a lot of prospects at the trade deadline. AJ Preller has never been afraid to deal prospects. You give up Boston Boston Bateman. He's a pitcher, left-handed pitcher. He's only 19 years old this year in A ball. 15 starts, 408 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 25 balls, and 68 and the third. So San Diego deals him to Baltimore as well. They also deal Tyson Neighbors, right-handed pitcher, 22 years old. This year, he's a relief pitcher. Between high A and Double A, Miami Double A, he's got a 1.85 ERA in 32 games, 6 saves and 3 holds. Maybe could be a future closer. Another piece in the deal was Victor Figueroa, a bit of a utility piece, mainly first base. Started in rookie ball. He has recently debuted in Double A. This year's hitting 315, 12 home runs, 47 RBIs, a OPS near 1,000. So he has been lights out this season. He started in rookie ball, hit 600 in 38 at bats, was in A ball for a while. played well there, and has very recently been promoted to Double A. So he's coming along, and also Cobb Hightower is a shortstop who you get. He's only 20 years old. This year between uh in A ball this year, he's hitting 236, a home run, 21 RBIs, 670 OPS. So nothing's really special there. He's probably just a throw in, but a lot to give up for that. But you get two good bats. Lorian can also play the outfield. So you have a lot in that trade. You also pick up Mr. Cortez from the Brewers. So Cortez, he's had a bit of a weird career. He bounced around the league for a while. He kind of had the home with the Yankees a couple of years ago, had a great season in 2022. 2 years ago, had a rough year, a lot of injuries, but last year, but bounce back year, had 3.77 ERA and 30 starts. Obviously, the last thing people remember was him, giving up the home run to Freddie Freeman in the World Series. That was obviously a stupid decision by everyone to put him in that game. This year has been out since April with a flexor strain, but he has just been activated and he's now on the active roster. He's got a 3.88 ERA in 137 career games. He's overall been a overall good starting pitcher throughout in his career. Gives him some rotation depth. That rotation's kind of getting a little bit older. Yu Darvish obviously has had a rough year. Cease has been up and down. Musgrove's hurt. So this gives him some help in the rotation if he can stay healthy. Him and Sears get you some rotation depth. You also pick up Freddie Furman, catcher. Not much of a hitter, only hitting 260, almost 270 this year. 3 homers, 15 RBIs, OPS just 670. He's still young. He's older than I thought. He's 30, but he didn't come up to he was 27. He's been the Rose number 2 catcher behind Salvador Perez this year. Great defender. Not much of a hitter. He's got over 770 career at bats. He's a career 270 hitter. OPS for his career is just over 700, so not great. But capable hitter and a really good defender. San Diego's weakest spot in their lineup has been the catcher position. Catchers who are Elias Diaz, who been swinging the bat better as of late, but overall has not hit well this year. Has never really hit at all in his career. He's more of a defender. And Martin Maldonado hasn't hit in years. He's a good defender, but doesn't really hit. Then you get Furman, who is just as good of a defender as both those guys, and is the best hitter out of the three. So you strengthen the position of weakness, and you pick out Will Wagner from Toronto. He was pretty highly touted across like a 1 point for Toronto. Hasn't quite worked out to this point. He's been hurt a lot of the year, but recently he was activated, hitting just 230 and 114 at bats a year, 630 OPS. Hasn't given you much for his career, but he's still 26 years old. This gives you a versatile infielder off the bench. And he's only 26, so maybe he could be a feature piece as well if you develop him properly. So overall, I think San Diego did a good job. I think they looked at themselves like, all right, last year we were close. We made the playoffs. We took the Dodgers the distance in the division series. Probably should have won that series. They were up 2-1. Offense goes cold those last 2 games. They matched up well. Didn't get it done. This year, they're having a good year. They're a good team. They've been in the thick of the wild card race all season. They're only two games behind the Dodgers, who are very beatable this year. They look beatable this year. Like you're looking around the league. The Cubs didn't do a whole lot to improve. Milwaukee hasn't gone on a deep playoff run with the squad yet. The Mets aren't a threat right now. Philadelphia, if they think they can beat them, maybe I think that's their biggest threat. I don't know. This is the time to go all in. And yes, AJ Preller, their GM, has dealt away so many top prospects in recent years, and it hasn't resulted in a championship. First year was an LCS appearance, still losing to the Phillies 3 years ago. But this is a good team that's got a chance to have a playoff run, and they went out and definitely got a lot better. Bringing in an electric closer in his prime, Mason Miller. You add starting pitching depth from Nestor Cortez and JP Sears. You add Chiron with O'Hearn and L'Oreal, and you get some depth on your bench with Freddie Furman and Will Wagner. The Phillies made a couple of nice moves. The big move they made was Joan Duran. This year he's been great. One of the best closers in baseball. 1.9 ERA in 51 games this year. 18 saves, 54 strikeouts, and 51 in the third. Duran, he's electric. I think he's got that electric closer entrance. He's been great. 2.44 ERA for his career in 225 career games. One of the best closers in the baseball, but they give up a good amount in that trade, including McGable, one of their top pitching prospects, who was on the cusp of being ready to be in the major leagues. Twins got a good return, but Philly's got a elite level closer in his prime, something they really needed. So they go out and get him. They also pick up Harrison Bader, who was also a good move. Bader's had a really good season this year, hitting 250 with 16 home runs. He's always been a great outfielder. Defensively, he's never really hit super consistently, but has had probably the best year of his career offensively. Getting from also from Minnesota in a separate trade. That's also a good pickup. They've kind of been a revolving door in center field for a long time now. Now Brandon Marsh last year has held it down, but he doesn't hit much. And then they get a guy in Bader who's just as good defensively and hits even more. So that was a nice move. But in Seattle, picked up Eugenio Suarez. Suarez was certainly the best bat available at the deadline. This year's hitting 240 with 37 home runs and 90 RBIs, a 5.660 slugging, and 870 OPS. He's always been an excellent power threat, one of the better home run hitters in baseball. Now 34 years old, going to be a free agent. Been in Arizona these last few years, but he goes back to Seattle where he played a little bit earlier in his career, having one of the best years of his career. Already has 37 home runs and 90 RBIs. Seattle did a good job adding to a lineup. It's been in major leagues for a long time now. You kicked off the trade season about a week before the deadline, getting Josh Naylor from Washington, or what was it, Washington they got him from? Not Washington. Arizona, also from Arizona. They get Naylor, who's a great hitter, first base and DH, and then they get third baseman who's not a good defender, but they get two big bats, which is something they really needed to do. I thought that was a good move by the Seattle Mariners. Something what the Yankees did. The Yankees picked up a bunch of relievers. I thought they had a mixed bag at the deadline. I thought the move for Austin Slater was kind of dumb. He's a death outfielder. He's only in like 2/3 of his year on the White Sox. Picked up Jose Calabro from Tampa. He's just a utility player. One of the first games he was out there, he's out there in right field instead of Slater for God knows what reason. He makes that bad error in the 10th inning of some Marlins. Obviously, you already made the McMahon move. I already talked about that one. I like their bullpen moves overall. Beddoes is a good reliever this year. 45 games, 2.55 ERA, 18 saves, 42 in the third inning, 9 strikeouts. He's overall been a very good closer for the Pirates. I think that's a good move. Pick up Camilo Doval from San Francisco. He's got a few years of control. I think he's got 3 years of control, so it's overall a good move. 3.12 ERA, 50 games, 15 saves, 51 strikeouts in 49 innings. That's a good move. The Jake Bird move did not work out. Getting him from Colorado, he came in. He was the guy who already wasn't pitching great in Colorado. Guess it's impossible to pitch in Colorado, but he comes to the Yankees, which just as bad. They already put him in the minor leagues, so that one didn't work out. I thought they should have went and got a starting pitcher, but they didn't do that. But I do like the bullpen moves they made. For Duvall and Bednar were really good moves. Bird move was not so good. The Slayer, overall, they did a pretty good job. You deepen the bench by getting Ahmed Rosario, Olson Slayer, and Jose Calabro. So you upgrade your bench. You give bullpen a much needed upgrade, getting Camilo Doval and getting David Bednar. The Jake Bird move didn't work out. You got an upgrade at third base with Ryan McMahon. I think they could have went and got a starter, but they overall did a pretty good job. We'll see what happens with them. Of course, they are struggling right now. Shane Bieber goes to Toronto. Cleveland trades him. He's not pitched at all this year. He's only pitched twice since 2024, coming off Tommy John, but he's about to be activated. Look, I was Cy Young in 2020. 2 years ago for 3.8 ERA and 21 starts. Before that, 2.8 ERA and 31 starts in 2022. When healthy, he's been a really good starting pitcher. He is 29. Obviously, he hasn't pitched in 2 years, but he's gonna be a free agent at the end of the year. No risk. They give up a decent prospect was a Cal Steven, but Toronto, you're in first place in the American League East. You were playing some outstanding baseball. You've kind of come down to earth recently. But the pitching is struggling a little bit. But I think this is a very good move by Toronto. I think it's worth the gamble. Take a shot on Shane Bieber. And Toronto will stay busy. You add to your bullpen, you pick up Seranthony Dominguez from Baltimore. That was a good move. 47 games, 3.6 ERA for 58 Ks in 45 innings. He's a solid reliever, has been for a while. They also pick up Louis Varman. Louis Varman, which is a really good move. He's got like 4 years of control left, 3 or 4 years of control. Has had a career 2.08 ERA this year in 54 games, 50 strikeouts against 52 innings. So that was a really good move. So that you add to the bullpen, something I think you need to do. I think Toronto should have went and got a legit power bat. I would have went and got one more bat. Just because the guy you brought in to be legit protection behind Vlad Jr. in the lineup, Alphonse Santander, has not played in like 2 months. He was hitting 170 when he was healthy. Not sure if he's playing again this year. So I would have really reinforced that lineup with one more bat. Didn't do that. However, you added a little bit of depth to your starting rotation. I do think it's worth the game for Shane Bieber. And you do add to your bullpen with Dominguez and Varland. The Mets make a bunch of moves. They completely revamped the bullpen. Ryan Helsley they bring in from St. Louis. I think this is a really good move. Got 3 solid prospects, including Jesus Baez, who at the end of the day, he's a shortstop. He's not going to play shortstop with the Mets with Francisco Lindor there. Helsley's been great this year. 2.7 ERA, 39 games, 21 saves on the year, 46 strikeouts against 39 innings pitched. He'll be the top setup guy to Edwin Diaz. Also pick up Tyler Rogers. People were complaining about the return or what the Mets gave up. I think what they gave up was perfectly fine. I get Rogers 34 and a free agent to be, but he's one of the best relievers in baseball. Very, very underrated. 2.79 ERA for his career. He's a 1.87 ERA this year. Obviously, he's very tough to pick up. As a submarine pitcher, very few of those left. You give up Buteau, who Rogers is simply better than. He's a decent reliever. He had a good year last year. This just been kind of with a death starter before that. Gilbert's not a bad prospect, but almost 25. Carson Bench is overtaking him as the potential center fielder of the future for the Mets in the minor leagues. And Blake Tidwell, Mets have a lot of better starting pitching prospects than him. In the 3 games he's pitched in the majors year, he was horrible. So I think it's a fair thing to give up. But Rogers is another really good reliever. And you pick up Cedric Mullins from Baltimore. I like this move. Gives him an upgrade in center field that they needed. He's only hitting 220 this year, but he's got 15 home runs, 49 RBIs. So he's got some power, good speed, very good defender in center field. Gives him a true center field. He was playing a lot of Jeff McNeil in center field this year because you want to keep Brandon in left field. Tyrone Taylor hasn't hit at all this year. Jose Sierra, he run to play center field for you, has been injured most of the season. Wasn't good when he was healthy. So, but Mullins, I think, was a good move by the Mets. Thought the Mets maybe could have went and got starting pitching depth. Didn't do that. And maybe I would have made one more big swing for a bat because of how bad they've been offensively, but the overall did a good job. Last couple of moves I want to talk about. Reds pick up Brian Hayes. I think this is a good move. You don't give up a whole lot. You give up a solid shortstop prospect, but you already have Ellie De La Cruz. Hayes is not much of a hitter for his career. He is a 250 career hitter with a 670 OPS this year, hitting just 230 with a 560 OPS, but one of the most defensive players in all baseball, Gold Glove caliber third baseman. He's got 5 years left on his contract on a really team-friendly rate. I think this was a really good move. He's still 28 years old. I think it's a really good move, but by the Reds, he's played well since he got there. And the Griffin Jack for Taj Bradley deal. The Griffin Jack heads for Tampa. Taj Bradley heads to Minnesota. I think this is one that could work out for both sides. Griffin Jacks this year. He hasn't been great. 4.47 ERA in 3 games. 48 in the 3rd innings for Jacks. But 75 strikeouts this year. The stuff is still there. He is 30. This guy was lights out last year. 72 games, ERA of 2. He had 10 saves, 95 strikeouts, and only 15 walks in 7 innings. We've seen it. The Rays love having a lot of different relievers. And Taj Bradley, I'm surprised the Rays moved him. I think he's a good pickup for Minnesota. He hasn't been great this year, but he's still just 24 years old. 4.5 ERA this year. Like I said, he is still young. Camp just always finds would have a surplus of pitching. He's flashed in the past. Last year was a little bit better. Had a ERA of 4.1 last year in 25 starts. So he's got the potential, I think, to be a good starting pitcher. Right now, he's just kind of He's just like a back of the rotation guy. But if that's his floor, it's something. The Twins are clearly going into a rebuild, and he gets dealt to Minnesota. So gonna do just talk quickly my winners and losers of the deadline. My winners, I would say, again, I like San Diego going all in. I think this was the time to do it. I also really like what the Texas Rangers did. You pick up Merrill Kelly, who's a very good starting pitcher for a 3.2 ERA this year. The rotation's really good. The ground's been great this year. He's finally been healthy. Nathan Eovaldi has been outstanding, especially since he came back. And now you pick up Merrill Kelly. Jack Leiter has pitched well for the Rangers this year. You have Kumar Rocker, who hasn't been great, but a lot of potential there as depth. Also add to your bullpen. You pick up Danny Colombo, who's been great this year. You pick up Phil Maton, who's been really good this year. So Texas really revamped their pitching staff. The team, they're hot right now. They've gotten themselves back into the race. They're right on the Yankees' tail for the last wild card spot. If they can just get in, that pitching staff, the experience they have, they won a championship 2 years ago, could be a tough out. So I really like what they did as well. Those are probably two of the biggest winners for sure. A couple teams I felt like did a good job. I could have done more, like the Mets. Great job adding to the bullpen. I like the Mullins pickup, but I thought they could have picked up one more bat and maybe a starting pitcher. If you're not going to promote Noel McLean or Brenton Sprout right now, or Joe Matong from the minor leagues, you might as well go into the starter since you don't have a ton of guys that can give you innings right now. The Yankees, again, I think they did a good job adding to their bullpen. You got an upgrade at third base. You upgrade your bench, but they really need to go and get a starting pitcher. I've had a lot of injuries to the rotation this year. Max Fried struggling a little bit, but didn't do that. Toronto's kind of in the same boat. I think did a good job adding to your bullpen with Dominguez and Varland. I like them to go and get Bieber. I really think they needed one more bat. They didn't do that. But two of my biggest winners are probably, I would say, probably Texas and San Diego. I think they did some really good things. As for who I think failed, I was disappointed in the Chicago Cubs. Made a couple of small moves. You picked up Soroka, for rotation depth, maybe a low end out of the bullpen. That's nothing special. You pick up who's it, Andrew Kitteridge to help. It's a solid bullpen piece to pick up. You pick up Taylor Rogers for depth in your bullpen. Picking me healthy, Willie Castro for bench depth, but team that's very good. Kyle Tucker's about to hit the market. I really think if you're going to go all in, this would be the year. I really thought they should have been a little bit more aggressive, and they weren't. So I thought they were a bit disappointing. Comes to the Cleveland Guardians, I would have probably torn that thing down. I get they're playing better, but I would have been a little more aggressive. I would have sniffed around, see if you can get something for maybe even Jose Ramirez. I know they traded you flipped Shane Bieber, but I would have looked to flip some more guys. That's just me. Didn't like what they did. The Cubs to me were a major disappointment. The Milwaukee Brewers could have done more. I'm not surprised. They usually don't make big splashes, but again, it's a team that's been red hot for the better part of 2 months. They've been probably the league's best team for the last 2 months. Right now, the best record in the league. This is probably your best shot to win a championship. And you remember Freddie Peralta, your ace, only has another year left on his deal. Devin Williams trade has actually worked out for them. But they got really anything back. Then Nestor Cortez only made 2 starts. He's now in San Diego. I'm not sure how many games Caleb Durbin's played for them. but Devin hasn't pitched well for the Yankees this year, and Trevor McGill has been outstanding for them out of the ninth inning. But you pick up Danny Jansen, you guess, all right, not upgrade as your second catcher. Can't hit, but great defender. You know what to deal with Jansen. Made a couple of death moves, but I really thought they should have done some more. I think, at least try and separate them from the Cubs. The Cubs also didn't do a whole lot, so that benefits them. But I think this is an opportunity to really put themselves in the driver's seat to go on a World Series run this year. Maybe just kind of, separate themselves from the Chicago Cubs, so who's the best team in that division. And they didn't go out and do that. So I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity for Boston as well. They've been playing some outstanding baseball for a solid 6, 7 weeks now, really ever since they traded Rafael Devon, which is kind of funny. And you got a lot of really good young kids in the lineup. But by the way, shout out to Roman Anthony, only 21 years old. He's killing it. He's got an 8-year extension of $130 million. Great move by the Red Sox. He might win. He might be in the American Rookie of the Year race. Nick Kirsten from the A's has that on lock. I think right now he's hitting 328, 21 years old or 22 years old. That's absolutely insane. But Roman Anthony will be in the conversation. But I really thought this was an opportunity for Boston to add to the bullpen, maybe as a starting pitcher. They didn't do that. You pick up Dustin May for some starting pitch stuff. He's got great stuff. He was once a top prospect, but has never been able to stay on the field. He hasn't been good this year. His first start in Boston, he didn't look good. But they had a deal for Joe Ryan. It kind of fell apart. I know there was speculation that we're going to go and take a shot on Shane Bieber that they don't do it. I don't mind the Steven Matz deal. Is former good starting pitcher with the Mets and the Cardinals. He's been a good reliever for the Cardinals here. There are a couple of really rough years as a starter with the Cardinals, but he's fine. Got to give up. Much of I would have traded Blaze Jordan for him. I like him, although he's a bit older for a prospect. But so I don't mind Max for help. A left hand on the pen who can give you some length. May was an okay trade. I thought they could have. I think the team is playing really well. You're getting hot at the right time. You have a good front of your rotation. Crochet is a absolute stud. Bayo has been very good. Giolito's been pitching well. I thought they could have went and got one more legit starting pitcher. Didn't do that. And Chapman's been absolutely fantastic out of the ninth inning. Bullpen otherwise leaves a lot to be desired. I would have wanted to add a little bit more, and they didn't do that. Although they're playing well, they've won 7 of the last 8 games, so they've come out on deadline pretty hot. So to this point, hasn't been that big of a deal. But I really thought, especially now Toronto's kind of fumbling a little bit. Who knows if they went out and got Merrill Kelly, and maybe got someone like Duvall or Helsley, like the Mets and the Yankees did. They're only 2.5 or 3 behind Toronto. Could they be even closer than that? Right now they're 3 or 4 games ahead of the Yankees. Could they be even further ahead of the Yankees right now if they make those moves? I don't know. So I think that could be an opportunity for them to really take charge in the AL playoff race, really make a true run at the AL East Division crown. And they didn't do that. That's my MLB trade deadline recap. All I got for you guys today. Till next time. So long. Have a great day.